Finally, before we get to those predictions, I've got one Tiger story I wanted to talk about. The surprise demotion of Matt Manning to AAA Toledo. He did not make the Tigers' seemingly burgeoning rotation, full of depth and young talent. The rotation will start with Tarek Skubal tomorrow afternoon in the south side of Chicago. It will progress to Kenta Maeda, Jack Flaherty. Casey Mize is I'd call him a surprise fourth starter. Maybe he's the fifth starter. I'm not sure he's going to rotate in there, but coming off injury, he looked fantastic throughout spring training, just dominating with the fastball, which is always good. And then Reese Olson, we saw quite a bit of in the second half of last season, just picked up from there and has a strong arsenal that is AJ Hinch called. Let me get this quote here. AJ Hinch said, Reese Olson can attack so many game plans in so many unpredictable ways, which is definitely something that Hinch is looking for in his pitchers. And you could call that a part of the Fetter effect. Chris Fetter, the now famed Tigers pitching coach, who has really made a big difference with their rotation, their young players and their aging veterans that have come back to reclaim their former top performance levels that we saw with Eduardo Rodriguez over the last couple of years. And hopefully now we'll see with Kenta Maeda and especially with Jack Flaherty, he's looking. I mean, again, I take everything with a grain of salt in spring training, but he looks as good as he has in years, I think. And hopefully that translates also into the regular season. But it just speaks to how much depth suddenly that the Tigers rotation has that hasn't existed in many years. That somebody like Matt Manning, who has proven himself on the major league level, he just had a couple freak injuries last year. He was getting hit by line drives. It wasn't that he had an arm issue of any sort. It was just he kept breaking his foot, getting hit by line drives, which is just bizarre. But now he's, it's almost through no fault of his own. He only gave up 8 hits in all of spring training, which is, and he looked great, except 6 of those 8 hits were home runs. And that kind of soured AJ Hinch on him. He's got to find a way to control damage, is the way he put it. And that just sort of speaks to the Tigers they don't have time to fuck around. They have had horrendous starts to the last 3 seasons. In the months of March and April over 2021, 2022, and 2023, they were combined 25 and 50. It's not the way you want to start a season. It really derailed 2021 because if you remember, the Tigers had a winning record in the next 5 months after April for the first time in like 10 years.
Yep.
That led to the hubris and excitement over 2022, which was just a complete disaster in every way. Like eventually got Alavila fired. But last year, similar things. They screwed up April, started 10-17, and they were a 500 team after that. Yet they were nowhere near clinching the division, even though they had a winning record against every team in the AL Central, including the division-winning Minnesota Twins. So April is critical. It is completely crushed the Tigers in the last 3 years, in particular.
Well,
and there is a renewed investment into making sure that the games in March and April are a winning month, a winning time for these Tigers because they have to get off to a good start.
It's a shame you're running into the AL Central buzzsaw known as the Chicago White Sox with...
I thought you were going to say buzzsaw, yeah.
Future, Cy Young winner Garrett Crochet on the mound tomorrow. I mean, geez, it doesn't look good for you guys.
We talked about it.
You'll probably be undefeated in March is my guess, but I mean...
Well, I do fear Crochet. I just don't think he's going to pitch more than 2.5, 2 and a third, 3 innings.
True. There's no reason to really fear the bullpen. So
yeah, then we'll just get into the bullpen and have some fun there. But Crochet, I don't think is going to be your issue.
Yeah, lots of other things will be.
Word Hole Media.